saw me there the first time. I ain't been there since. They probably got it.
All right, we good.
All right. So yeah, Uhuru. Sum up the North Outreach, United Outreach on what's today's date? 6. Yeah, on July 6th. I think it was fairly successful. We made some errors in location. We went to the Source of Knowledge bookstore, but there wasn't a lot of traffic out there to do outreach in the way that we wanted to do it. So Diop made the intervention to move to a better location. We all united with the location, and I unite with this location. We were able to do better. We sold 18 Burn Spear newspapers. So 18 Burn Spear newspapers. We sold 2 T-shirts, and we don't have to count on the water, but the water seemed successful too. We sold a lot of water. Yeah, so the water was successful. Altogether, we raised $62, so that's real good. Our goal was $50 for this outreach, so we're $12 over our goal. So that's real good. Yeah, we had people come out. We had Michael McNabb come out. We had Eddie G come out. And really appreciate that effort. And hope that for our outreach and for our events and even for the movement to come out even more. So I think it was, like I said, it was successful. That's all I got. You got anything? You got anything, Wally?
I just want to say I appreciate the summation, but next time we have to do a better accounting on what was sold, keeping inventory.
Also, yeah, I got more. Also, there's a contradiction with the club card flyers. The plan was for them to be picked up in Harlem today. That didn't happen. First, Forrest Spice was going to pick them up, and then he couldn't pick them up. Then I was going to go pick them up, but then the printer didn't get in touch with me until we was well into the outreach process. So that was a contradiction that we're going to have to sum up. I'm going to have to sum up with them. I already spoke to him, and I told him I'll be calling them later to figure out how we're going to, meet up to get our flyers. So he made an apology, and we'll talk more about that. We didn't have the table items that we thought we would have. There was supposed to be books on the table. There was supposed to be buttons and other, stuff that we could sell, and we didn't have that.
Why not?
So that's a contradiction too. We were informed today by the pigs that we're supposed to have a sound permit out here, though, we know that we can do it. We turned it down, and then we turned it back up when they was gone, and then nobody else bothered us again. So that was successful as well too.
Uhuru, yeah. I want to first of all, part of the reason why we want to record this on video is because this is the people's organization. It was said by Amilcar Cabral that tell no lies, claim no easy victories. If we're going to make a revolution, then the mass of the people have to be actively engaged in the revolutionary process, and we can't hide our contradictions from the people. In fact, the people should join the organization with the understanding that it's not a perfect organization and that we are constantly engaged in the process of struggling and overturning contradictions, getting better, solving the problems of the revolution. So we want for the people, even if they're not members right now, the people should still be privy to these types of discussions so they can understand the type of organization we are in comparison with some other organizations that may try to bring them into their fold. People have a better way a frame of reference. So that's one thing in terms of why we want to open this up in the way we are right now. Also, I think it's important that, because we talked about some contradictions, like we didn't have the stuff that we would normally sell. We have to say why. We have to raise criticisms where they need to be raised. I know that Comrade Vice was supposed, he united when we ended the meeting to bring the stuff, right? Maybe I was missing something, but I thought we had ended the meeting last night when we made plans for today that Comrade Vice would bring the stuff out and then go back to Queens to handle what he had to handle. But you know, that didn't happen. You know, and the consequence was that we didn't have any of the materials well, most of the materials that we would have wanted to have, and we had to actually scramble and get some other stuff like on the fly. We had to go and buy it. So that got to be summed up because, you know, we make plans based on what we all unite on in the meeting. If we change the plans up halfway or, you know, after the meeting, then that throws everything off balance. And, you know, luckily we was able to recover in a certain kind of way, but we really got to take the unity, the resolutions we make in the meeting, we got to struggle to carry them out. And if we don't, you know, if we really just don't think it can happen, then just say that in the meeting. Don't be like, you know, in the back of your mind, you know that it can't happen, but you're not going to raise it in the meeting, because that essentially that amounts to sabotage. So that's something that we really want to struggle around moving forward. The other thing in terms of the pigs and the sound, we recognize that there is like quote unquote law, you know, and there's all types of laws out here that dictate what people can and can't do at any given time, especially oppressed people's African people, you know. But the fact is that the law is a political document. The law is only as significant as the political conditions that make it possible for the law to be enforced. When the pigs feel that they're in a position of power, which is most of the time, then they're going to enforce the law. And sometimes they will enforce what is not the law. They will, you know, rule over the community without regard for law. But that is only contingent upon the ability of the people to resist, to stand up, to make it impossible for the pigs and the state as a whole to intervene in the activity and the lives of the people as a whole. That's what we talk about democracy. Real democracy is the right to be able to play Omali Ishatella on the sound speaker. You know, that's democracy. Democracy is not the ability to vote for one or two Negroes that's both mouthpieces for white power. Democracy for the massive African people is the right for the people to be able to speak in our own interests and project the sounds and the analysis of the Yehuda movement on a loudspeaker like this. And part of what we want to do is create a situation in this community and in the world in general where the state has to go through the people in order to get to the revolution. If they want to attack us, if they want to infringe on our ability to speak, then they're going to have to go through the people. So that's part of why we always want to be out here connected with the masses of people, so the people will defend the organization and make it appear and expose the fact that the state is a dictatorship. The state don't even got no regard for law. Their only objective is to keep black people from talking about black power. We have to make it necessary for the pigs to say that. And that's part of what we're doing out here right now. So we want to continue to push the question of our right to play Omali Ishatella, to play the politics of the party, African internationalism, for the masses of the people to hear. We want to bring the masses into that process so that they can defend the right to hear that analysis and to begin to put it out in their own way.
You got anything while here? Marquita?